giving aid and comfort to your enemies. That is treason. So this entire foreign aid bill, by definition of our laws and our Constitution, is committing treason by doing so. But when you talk about the border, this government is in a partnership with the cartels, Steve, the cartels that are committing human trafficking, drug trafficking, and murdering Americans every single day, every day. Their drugs and their illegal alien crime is murdering Americans. And this government here will not protect them, is not protecting the American people. Throw them out. That's what our Constitution says. Throw them all out. Throw all of us out, for that matter.
She tried to tell everyone that she was going to start tearing things down in the House if she didn't get her way. And actually, everyone did believe her, but it was still inevitable.
The Republican speaker is hinging his entire ability to stay speaker on sending $60 billion more to Ukraine. I can't think of a worse betrayal ever to happen in United States history. And here's what's really ironic. The constitutional attorney, Mike Johnson, is literally betraying the American people in order to keep his grip of power on the speakership.
I don't care if the Speaker's office becomes a revolving door. If that's exactly what needs to happen, then let it be. But the days are over of the old Republican Party that wants to fund foreign wars and murder people in foreign lands while they stab the American people in their face.
I know saying people are getting stabbed in their face is supposed to be worse than getting stabbed in the back. But if you're getting stabbed in the face, you can see it coming. Getting stabbed in the back is the betrayal, and therefore worse. Kind of like what she's doing to Mike Johnson after she said this.
I filed the motion to vacate today, but it's more of a warning and a pink slip. I respect our conference. I've paid all my dues to my conference. I'm a member in good standing, and I do not wish to inflict pain on our conference and to throw the House in chaos. It doesn't have to be forced and throw the House into chaos. I don't want to put any of our members in a difficult place like we were for 3.5 weeks.
She went from not wanting to put members in a bad spot and being measured to not caring if the speakership becomes a revolving door. In just over 2 weeks, she went through this transformation. It must be because her fellow agents of chaos are hyping her up, too.
For hours last night and proposed different paths for the speaker that would have avoided the abject surrender represented by his strategic choice here. There's no other way to describe it. It's surrender. It's disappointing. I won't support it.
It's disappointing. It's completely detached from what our base wants, what our voters want.
The strategy is not to try. I think the strategy is to fall on his sword.
Again, I said it before. It only took 6 months for the speaker to go from Moses Mike to Traitor Johnson over his realization that the Republicans barely have a majority in the House, while the Senate and presidency are in the hands of Democrats. So he knows that he can't get anything passed without making some concessions. And he might have even realized the importance of actually legislating, since it's his job now to get things done rather than just complain about everything.
I'm doing here what I believe to be the right thing. I think providing lethal aid to Ukraine right now is critically important. I really do. I really do believe the intel and the briefings that we've gotten that I believe Xi and Vladimir Putin and Iran really are an axis of evil. I think they're in coordination on this. I think that Vladimir Putin would continue to march through Europe if he were allowed. I think he might go to the Balkans next. I think he might have a showdown with Poland or one of our NATO allies. To put it bluntly, I would rather send bullets to Ukraine than American boys. My son is going to begin in the Naval Academy this fall. This is a live fire exercise for me, as it is so many American families. This is not a game. It's not a joke. We can't play politics of this. We have to do the right thing. And I'm going to allow an opportunity for every single member of the House to vote their conscience and their will on this. And I think that's the way this institution is supposed to work. And I'm willing to take personal risk for that because we have to do the right thing, and history will judge us. If I operated out of fear over a motion to vacate, I would never be able to do my job. Look, history judges us for what we do. This is a critical time right now.
Even though he's willing to risk his job to do the right thing, the idea was floated for him to change the rules that allow one Marjorie Taylor Greene to take the next step in kicking his ass out. It was one that he turned down, but after he rejected their demands to ditch Ukraine aid, it resulted in a bullying session after Thursday's vote in the House.
In the back corner of the House floor, unfortunately, where cameras could not track it all, but I saw it unfold before my eyes. It was a little bit confusing. Everybody sort of huddling around Mike Johnson, those hardliners, many of them members of the conservative House Freedom Caucus, trying to pressure Johnson not to put aid to Ukraine on the floor unless he has assurances that the Senate would take up and vote on the conservative House border bill known as H.R. 2. This is something for months now that Democrats from the White House to the Senate have telegraphed they would never do.
So these guys rolled up on Mike Johnson and cornered him out of the view of cameras of the House floor to let him know that they're not against physically bullying his ass either. Names were called, but the drama got even more intense when Johnson got a little bit of backup before he could turn the other cheek and catch a two-piece from fellow Republicans.
I understand the drama and infighting has boiled over on the House floor, one lawmaker threatening Speaker Johnson directly. But serious stuff needs to get done, so give us a lay of the land right now.
So this is what happened, Chris. I actually just got off the phone with Congressman Derek Van Orden, who members of the House Freedom Caucus, when they came off the floor after huddling with Speaker Johnson in that tense group that you described, said that he threatened Johnson, calling him Tubby. Well, actually, Van Orden told me literally moments ago that he was referring his comments to Matt Gaetz. He was telling the hardliners to bring it on facetiously, meaning the motion to vacate, because he is tired, he said, of the, quote, cancer that has been spreading among the Republican Party in the House here.
It's getting crazier. The battle lines are being drawn throughout the chamber, and maybe Mike Johnson's courage to risk his job is coming from the fact that Democrats have signaled that they're willing to save him from Marge's wrath by supporting him if and when she calls for that vote to remove him, something they were unwilling to do for Kevin McCarthy. He's literally dealing with Democrats to both advance the legislation and shield him from getting ousted by his own party. It's sad that all this infighting is such a direct and easily traced result of Representative Greene working for the best interests of Vladimir Putin, because Trump does the same thing.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is proposing for the U.S. to withdraw from NATO. She believes that Americans should help Putin win.
That's amazing. That's Russian state television. In fact, ever since Marjorie Taylor Greene started speaking out against helping Ukraine, Russian state television can't get enough of her. Look at all that. And Greene does share, frankly, a lot of Putin's views on Ukraine. Take, for instance, this tweet where she accuses the Ukrainians of being Nazis. Well, you've certainly heard that before, right? Well, on Russian state TV.
A flagrantly brutal provocation by Ukrainian Nazis.
So that's the blatant reality that MAGA doesn't even deny. They just openly celebrate their leader's decision to work for Putin and his interests. And it's not simply a bunch of Democrats that make this point.
I guess their reasoning is they want Russia to win so badly that they want to oust the speaker over it. I mean, it's a strange position to take. I think they want to be in the minority too. I think that's an obvious reality. I'm still trying to process all the bullshit, so.